What's up, everyone? All right, well, today is day 4 of my TD Ameritrade small account challenge, and I'm up just under $100. So that means in 4 days, I've been averaging $125 a day, and the account's up over $500. It's at over $3,050 right now. I started with $2,500, which is a pretty small account. It's certainly not as small as you could go. You could go down to $500 or even $200 with TD Ameritrade. But I think you have to expect that your daily gains would be proportionally smaller. So if I'm averaging right now 125 a day with 2,500, if I had 1,200, I might be averaging 65. If I had 600, I might be averaging 30. If I had, 300, I might be averaging 15. And that's all okay for those first 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days. Because remember, as you start to grow the account, you're able to start buying more shares of the trades you take, and your daily gains naturally will increase. And that's what we're gonna talk about during today's recap. And I'm gonna compare this a little bit to the small account challenge that I did last month, which was a little bit different. I started with 500, but I used an offshore broker that allows you to day trade with margin and leverage, even with as little as $500. So very different challenge. This TD Ameritrade cash only account, it's a little bit slower, but slow and steady wins the race. And I want to prove to you guys that it can be done. All right, so this is where we're at here. Day 4, $97 profit, counts up over $3,000, and I'll be back in it for day 5, and hopefully we have another green day. All right, everyone, so we're gonna go over our TD Ameritrade small account challenge. Today is day 4, and I'm up $97.12 on one trade on VIVE. VIVE this morning was the, first, second, third, fourth, fifth leading gapper, gapping up 38%, float of 830,000 shares, currently with 11 million shares of volume. Pre-market, it had about 2 million shares of volume and was forming this ABCD pattern. So an ABCD pattern is a pattern that can be traded both on the 5-minute time frame, also the 1-minute time frame. And basically what we look for is we've got the first high, and then we've got A, the low of this pullback, B, the pop up, but it cannot break the high, C, the next pullback, and this pullback cannot break this low right here, and then D is where you get in for the break over this high. And so what you have here is this pivot. It makes a high, it pulls back, and then it comes back up. Now initially right here, this is actually a flag pattern, but the flag pattern fails to result in a breakthrough high of day. And that can sometimes happen either when the stock is really extended or where the volume is light, or where for whatever reason it just doesn't have enough buyers to break through the highs. So then it pulls back. And now as long as this pullback doesn't break the low of this first dip, it's still bullish. If it breaks this low right here, what it's essentially doing is just stair-stepping down. Then you would expect a small move here, and then the next one down would continue to go lower. And so this trend right here is just a stock trending down. But because this dip was not lower than this pullback, it's actually showing strength. It's consolidating between the low of this pullback right here and the high of day. So this is our range, and there's a lot of lines on this chart, but this is the range that we're working in. And this is all technical analysis. And this is what helps me establish a low risk entry point, which is what I need in order to grow what is a tiny account. This TD Ameritrade account, I started with $2,500. So I'm now up $551.56 in 4 days of trading, averaging about $125 a day. To make $125 a day, if I'm able to do that consistently in this account over the course of a year, that'd be $20,000+ from a starting balance of $2,500. That by itself would be impressive. But what you guys know is that once the account starts to grow, of course, the buying power increases, and I can start trading with larger and larger share size. And so if we go back and I show you the metrics from the small account challenge that I did in December, and I'm just gonna pull this up here. So I'm gonna filter this by tag CMEG. There we go. Okay, so filter. All right, so this is my my small account challenge that I did in December. All right, now this challenge was a little bit different from the TD Ameritrade challenge because I used an offshore broker. Now, using an offshore broker, they don't enforce what we know is the PDT rule. And that means they allow me to day trade, or anyone to day trade, as much as they want. In my TD Ameritrade account here, this is a cash account, which means I can trade for the full $3,000, but then I have to wait 2 days for that cash to settle, for it to clear. It's kind of like every time you take a trade, it's like cashing a check. All right, so now I've got to wait 2 days for this trade to settle before I can trade with that money again. Now, over here in the CMEG account, I was trading 3, 4, 5 times a day. I didn't have to wait for the trades to settle. They would settle instantly, and I would be allowed to continue trading. And that's the difference between a margin account and a cash account. But TD Ameritrade, as a US broker, if you set up a margin account with 2,500, which you could, they would say you can only day trade 3 times every 5 days, because that's the rule, until you have over 25,000. So with a small account challenge here, really the goal is, how quickly can you grow it to 25,000 and then flip the switch and turn it into a margin account where you can start trading an unlimited number of times each day. But even during, let's see, I'm looking for the overview. Even during the first few days here of my CMEG account challenge, and I can just do this like to the 15th, let's just say. My gains were really small. $158, $12, $174, $427, $350, $198, and then a loss, and then a green day. Right? So the gains are pretty small, and that's just relative to the fact that during those first few days of a challenge, you don't have a lot of buying power. So when you first set up a brand new account, you've got to be super conservative about A, quality setups. Trade the best, leave the rest. Number one. And number two, being very mindful about how much you're risking on every trade you take. So this was my trade on VIVE. All right, so VIVE, you can see right here, I was in at $1.37 with 1,000 shares. Now I entered by pressing 1,000 shares and then clicking the buy market button. Now, you never know for sure when you press the buy market button exactly where you'll get filled, but hopefully you get filled at a pretty good spot. All right, so I'm in right here as the stock is starting to curl up for the break over 45. The pre-market pivot here, the high of the level of AB is 46. So I'm looking for the break of 46 and then a retest of high of day, which is 50. And this squeeze all the way up to 60. And so just like that, I had a nice trade. Now, in fact, I ended up selling as it was breaking over the $0.50. There was a little bit of resistance as it was coming up there. I wasn't sure that it was really going to open up. And a stock of this price range, if you get a full 15 cents, you're up 10%. And so when I was up 10 cents, I figured I better start taking a little profit off the table. And so I put in my button here to sell 300 shares. I sold 346. 347, 348. I did that by typing in 300 shares right here. And then the first time I pressed join ask, and I couldn't actually tell if my order sold on the ask because my position size didn't change. And so I clicked cancel all, and then I clicked sell market. I was like, you know what, better just lock it up, sell market. And then I sold market again, and then the last 100 shares, I just sold like that. And you can click these to change your share size. So this isn't a home run day by any means, but growing a tiny account isn't about swinging for home runs. It's about focusing on base hits. And so today I got a nice base hit, and I didn't use all of my buying power. So I still have $1,579 of buying power left, which means if I wanted to, continue trading today, I could, or what would be smarter is that I save this buying power for tomorrow. So that means I can trade basically half my cash today, half of it tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, because today's Monday, This money that I traded today will clear up, so I can trade with that amount on Wednesday. And then the money I trade with tomorrow will clear up and I can trade with it on Thursday. And so basically, if you put in $2,500, you can trade with $1,200 every single day. And as you grow the account, then you can trade with a little more, a little more, a little more each day. So making some progress here, slow and steady. That's kind of the only way to grow a cash account, unless you're gonna try to do a kind of, I don't know, like Hail Mary pass by buying some out of the money options at 10 cents and hope they go up to like $1. But that would be very risky, and most of those options will expire worthless. So you'd have to really, I don't know where you would get the confidence to do something like that with your tiny account, but I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. So a nice day here, day 4, and averaging about $125 a day. So we'll see whether or not tomorrow will be day 5. I'm not going to be a stickler on trading this account every single day. If I don't see something that I can justify risk on, I'm not going to take any trades. And justifying risk is a combination of the market we're in, the price of the stocks that are looking good, and these setups. This was a very nice ABCD setup, and it's unfortunate that it didn't hold up better. GNPX was another one that this was one that I traded in my main account. We had a similar setup right here. It wasn't actually an ABCD setup. It was a pullback, a flag pattern. I was a little cautious on it because it was the third pullback. We already had the first and the second pre-market. This was the third one out of the gates. So I was okay taking it in my main account, but I didn't feel comfortable taking it in the small account. It ended up being a winner, but you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. All right, so any questions on these trades in TD Ameritrade? Of course, those of you guys watching on YouTube, leave them down below in the comments, and I will see you back for the next update in this small account challenge the next day that I trade in it. Hey, have you seen my most popular video on YouTube? It's got over 5 million views. You can check it out right here, and check out one of my other videos on YouTube right here. I hope you guys enjoy, and as always, if you have questions, leave them down below in the comments section. I personally respond to every comment that's posted.